Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Vishan, and today we are diving into a comparison that's getting a lot of buzz, which is Strapi versus Directus. Now, before we dive into this whole presentation, let's understand who this video is for. If you're a CTO, CMO, CEO, or any kind of CXO, say a product owner or a consultant as well, who's trying to choose the right headless CMS for their company, this video is for you. This isn't a generic shallow video walkthrough. If that's what you're looking after, there are plenty of them on the internet. A lot of blog posts, a lot of videos. You should go check out that. Uh, Now, what are we trying to solve? What is the problem here? Now, before we start comparing dashboards, feature checklists, let me be straight up with you, right? I've seen so many videos and blogs on this topic, and they almost boil down to the fact that Strapi is good for X, Directives is good for Y. Choose what works for you. And I'm like, thank you. But that's not the point, right? Most of them aren't giving you the right context of what actually matters and how these tools hold up when you're building real product. They'll show you how to create a model, maybe spin up collections, but what happens when you're working on actual project with auth, custom roles, multiple environmental setups, and a dev team trying to ship fast without breaking stuffs. So that's where things get interesting because let's be honest, right? Like choosing the wrong CMS early can bite you really hard, like slow builds, clunky APIs, permission nightmares, or worse is probably like rebuilding your entire backend 6 months down the line. And look, I get why this happens. Okay, a lot of the content out there are made by marketers, folks who have only played around on the sandbox mode. But when it comes to building production ready apps with real clients and real deadline, that surface level will never cut it. So if you're just looking for which has the best UI, which has the fanciest UI, which has the prettier dogs, this video is not for you. But if you are actually looking for you're actually looking at building an actual product, say a SaaS marketplace, probably an internal tool, and you need to know what CMS will fit your business or fit your product, you're the right place. Uh, so what are we covering today? The real CMS experience, when to use what CMS, and why. Now, why should you listen to me? This is a very interesting question that I would love to answer because I've been building modern web products for over a decade now, and I run focus team called VFrame Tech, and this is what we are doing for a living. I mean, we do this day in, day out. We specialize in headless CMS solutions. We work with clients across the globe with projects ranging from different industries. Now, even if I talk about my client overview, right, we have the likes of billion-dollar companies like a BAX exchange, a publicly traded company, large enterprises from around the world, the likes of Lamborghini, Ferrari, Unimig is one of the manufacturing clients that we're currently working with. So yeah, so we work with clients probably from different scales to different dimensions. Now, when I talk about the kind of clients that you work with, we keep it very transparent, right? Like the kind what I'm trying to show you. Uh, these are like testimonials which you can actually go onto our website and check. They speak highly of our work, and also letting you know that I am one of the top rated developers in Upwork, both as an individual and through our agency. The Upwork profiles are 100% job success and top rated. Alongside this, we work with 10 plus headless CMS and 8 plus headless commerce platforms. And what I would also love to tell you is that we've seen teams evolve, we've seen how content needs shift, and we've seen how fast a wrong CMS turns into a technical debt. So yeah, this isn't theory. This is based on platforms we've actually built, shipped, and supported in production. Having said this, we have used both Strapi and Directus in productions, and exactly why this isn't just a comparison for the sake of the content. This is based on real world builds, what works, what breaks, what's flexible, and what's painful. Okay, so without further ado, let's quickly jump on to the directors versus CMS. Now, now, in short, Directus is a developer-centric CMS, and sorry, Strapi is a developer-centric CMS, while Directus is a data-first engine. When I say data first engine, it is more like a backend, okay, that connects to your, it's more like a backend that connects to your existing SQL databases. Now, how do I put this into a very brief and very layman terms? Not layman terms, but in a very simple manner. You already have a system, okay, that stores custom orders, say product details. The data is stored in a database, now say MySQL or a Postgres. Now you want to access and manage this data through an easily available interface or APIs without rebuilding or moving anything. That's when Directus comes in. Directus works with what you already have. There's no migration needed. Connects to multiple tools. No lock-in or any kind of coding hassles. Now, in short, what I would probably want to tell you is Directus turns your existing database into a flexible API-ready content platform quickly, safely, and without any kind of disruption. Okay. Now, your question will be like, then what's Strapi? How does that help? Now, imagine you're launching a new blog or an app or any kind of business. Now, you need a CMS to manage things like, say, posts, author, categories. You don't have a database yet, you're starting off fresh. Now, here is when you need a full control over your data setup, right? And access via APIs. That's when Strapi comes into the picture. You build the structure in code. Strapi lets developers define how the data is organized and stuff. It handles the database for you, great for new projects, ready to use APIs. So obviously there is some kinds of things that you need to keep in mind. Like for example, it's not for existing databases. Strapi is built to work with, isn't built to work with uh, old or shared databases, but and less flexible with the mixed system. So in short, Strapi is perfect for building new and content heavy apps from scratch. Now, when you look at GitHub metrics and funding updates as of April 24, 2025, right? Strapi is slightly higher than Directus. The reason, I mean, Directus is older than Strapi for sure, but as a CMS, Directus changed a lot in terms of tech, and that's exactly why Directus has around 30K stars, while Strapi GitHub repository has around 865.4K stars, which means Strapi has a bigger community, more funding, and can mean faster innovation. But at the same time, Directus, though being smaller, it's quickly catching up with Strapi. Now, in terms of system requirements, obviously, when you look at system requirements, you can see that Strapi has a higher requirement, which means Directus is more lightweight. Strapi needs more computing power. When you look at database comparisons, right? Here, when you see look at database comparisons, Directus is the one that supports out of the box database support. Obviously, Strapi supports Postgres, MySQL, and SQLite, but obviously doesn't support Oracle, MS SQL, while Directus does so. Now, let's look at some of this. I think I've already covered the whole detail about what Directors does and how all of these points add up. I've done the same thing with Strapi as well. Now, let's look at in-depth comparison of Directors and Strapi handling databases, features, and customization. Now, the first thing that comes in mind is the schema management, right? Directors connects directly to your existing database, as I said earlier, while Strapi requires developers to define new structure in code. It creates and manages database itself. So if a company already has a valuable system like an ERP, CRM, or any kind of product catalog, Directors allows faster deployment, saves a lot of time and cost. Strapi is great. I'm not saying that it is not, but if you're starting fresh, it is great. Uh, Now, let's look at the second one, which is migrating from an existing database. Now, this is something that we've solved for a lot of clients. Now, when we do it with Strapi, right, requires a lot of manual data modeling. It needs to migrate the data into a new structure. Well, Directors is just connect and go. So for legacy heavy business, I think Directors drastically reduces migration effort. If you are Strapi is better when you're building new experiences, as we said earlier. Lock-in period. A lot of the businesses don't look into this, but lock-in period is lock-in. CMS lock-in is quintessential. Directors leaves your database untouched. If you stop using it, your data still is intact and stable, and usable from you. While Strapi, right, it integrates tightly with your system. So what happens is, even if you want to remove it, right, it requires a lot of developer interventions. If you're planning, say, a long-term flexibility and or worry about changing vendors, tools, etc., Directus protects your data independence. While Strapi does give you a lot of power, but it also comes with a lot of commitment. Coexistence with other systems. So obviously, Directus plays well here as well. While Strapi wants to own the database, which could break other apps sharing that database. In complex businesses where multiple departments, tools are involved, we suggest that Directus is a safer and a cleaner choice. Schema changes, very technical, but I'll still try and make it very simpler for you. When I talk about, like, let's understand what schema is, right? Like, schema is like a blueprint of your data, correct? And any changes to this is basically versioning of it. Now, Strapi does the schema in the code. So when a developer makes a change to the schema, like adding new fields or any kind of stuff that they do, they update the code. To move this change to another environment, say a staging or a production, you just have to deploy the updated code, like a normal app update. Now it's easy, it's automatic. If you're deploying the if you're already you're already using the deployed code. But how does Directus do it? Directus does it in a different way. Directus stores the schema inside the database by default. So to move schema changes from one environment to another, you take a snapshot, like a saved copy of that current schema. Then in the other environment, you apply that snapshot using a command. So just given that. So while Directus requires an extra step, this can be automated using CI/CD pipeline. Now let's look at content versioning. Content version comes with versions of history and rollback. Directors comes with that, and it's available in the free version as well. Well, with regards to Strapi, right, this is behind a paid plan. So if your business needs audit trials, if your content team frequently revises and rolls back changes, and your directors can save you a lot of cost. While with Strapi, you need to pay extra to build custom plugins to get to this functionality. I think draft and publish mode, Directors does support a draft like system, but not the true draft and publish mode. Strapi has a true draft and publish system. You can work on new content without affecting what's live. So that is the thing about draft and publish. While custom file upload logic, I think Strapi allows file logic in multiple upload providers. Directors allows advanced file sharing and is evolving towards complete customization for enterprise storage. So if your business needs to manage large volumes of media files, work across clouds, cloud providers, I shouldn't be saying cloud, but cloud providers are keep private internal documentation. um, in fact, both platforms can actually support it. However, Directors offers more flexibility in terms of enterprise scale file governance. Single sign-on, I think a lot of them would be interested in how does a single sign-on work. Both of it support. Both Directors and Strapi offers SSO authentication, be it Google, GitHub, Facebook, Okta, etc. But with a key difference. The difference is SSO support is free in Directus while it's paid under Strapi. So this you need to understand. If you want to integrate with Google, Azure, Okta, or whatever it is, whatever identity providers for secure login, Directus gives you SSO without any extra cost. Dynamic content structures, I think it's available in both. It's basically dynamic zones. Somebody calls it, some people call it dynamic zones as well. With regards to access control, um, when you look at there are different kinds of access controls, right? One is role based access control, field level permissions, granular UI permissions. So if you have a large content or editorial team and need precise control over who accesses what, Directors can give you more out of the box. Strapi does so. Again pricing comes into the picture. It's obviously paid again. Now, one of the key features that we love, I mean, if you want to look at more different things about how Directors and Strapi vary and what is the differences, you can read through this blog. Has a lot of details, has a lot of points that you can take a note of, and which can help you evaluate what is the better CMS for you. But right now, one important thing that I would highlight is about Directors flows. In our view, one of the most outstanding features of Directors at this present is the flows functionality. Flows enable you to execute operations triggered by various events directly from your dashboard. So all without the need to code. So this is one of the important things. Now the question is, even after all this, right? All that you want to understand right now is when to choose Directus CMS and when to choose Strapi, which one fits my business needs. Now, if we look at when to choose what, right, this is a big blog consisting of different use cases, different business categories, best for what. I'm going to make it very short and sweet, so that you understand as to what this is. I'm not going to read through this whole blog, because obviously you have this blog, you can read through it, but I'm going to walk you through as to when to choose what for your business use case. Now, let's assume the business situation. If you're building a new digital product from scratch, or you need a custom backend logic tightly coupled with your front end, now that's when you use Strapi. If you already have a SQL database, you want to expose an API, or your marketing or content team needs to update data structures, or you want a low code, no code layer, or you want to prioritize very high customizable role based access, then you use Directus. If you're building for enterprise grade systems, you could probably use Strapi Enterprise or Directus Community, so you can use that. But this is in short when to use what. Now, let's assume from an industry perspective, right? Industry perspective as to what you have to use. Now, I'm making more easier for you, because if you can listen to me properly, it's very easy. Now, if you're looking at, say, a retail, or e-commerce, like pure e-commerce, or healthcare, or say financial services, or like enterprise IT, wherein role-based API access are required, or say a lot of product catalogs or inventory, lot of patient data, details, patient databases to connect. All of these things are there, right? So then you use Directus. Now, when you have like media publishing houses, or say, for example, simple SaaS platforms, or say an edtech industry wherein there's structural learning content, all of these things, that is when you tend to go with Strapi. Now, there are different reasons why you could choose Strapi, why you could choose Directus, as I've already mentioned. Those are your quintessential reasons to choose the same, but it doesn't mean, when I say an industry, for example, if I say an e-commerce, it doesn't mean that Strapi cannot fit there. But Directors is a better use instead of Strapi. Or when I say a media publishing house, where an editorial workflows, that can also be done on Directors, but Strapi fits better there. So we have seen it all. We have worked in multiple industries, so we know what fits best. Now, when you have like, say, a manufacturing industry or like a retail industry, there's a lot of product catalog, lot of customization, product variants, invent, lot of customization in terms of both products and customers that needs. Then we feel the Directors played a better role than Strapi, because we've worked with both of them. Now, which one should you choose, right? Like, and what are the factors for choosing the same? That's another other question that you'll always have. I'm not particularly going in with this, but I'm just making it very easier for you in terms of factors as well as to what to choose. Now, easily, if you want something to easily integrate with your existing, but if you want to start from, say, scratch, then it's Strapi. As I told you, easily integrated with existing data, Directors. Something with scratch, Strapi. Role based access and SSO built in is Directors, but obviously Strapi is paid, so you'll obviously end up choosing Directors. Deep backend customization, both of them can provide, both Strapi and Directors. Directors ends up being better in terms of customization as well. The only thing is that Strapi, you have a lot of plugins available. Now, when you look at enterprise grade governance needs, both of it can use Strapi and Directus enterprise grade governance. So, in short, I think I've covered most of it. I mean, what you could probably think, even after all these things, you might have doubt, but let's do this. Let's do a quick summary. Think of Strapi as a headless CMS, ideal for powering your website's landing pages, blogs, e-commerce content. It's great for managing content, can be used to build simple backends. Now, when you look at Directus, right, Directus is more like a custom backend platform, similar to Superbase, designed to build anything from a multi-tenant SaaS application to a highly customizable a solution. Okay, while it's a headless CMS, it's also I would call it as a backend as a service. It's more like a BaaS. It combines content management with backend functionality, allowing you to build powerful applications with features like authentication, permissions, a lot of custom frameworks like Node.js and Laravel, but with the advantage of ready-to-use modules to make development, deployment, and scaling way easier. Now, even after all this, I'm sure there are going to be doubts. You'll still be confused, and you would need, you would need expert guidance. You would think that is this like expert guidance I'm looking at? So, if you're not sure as to what CMS fits into your use case and how to integrate it cleanly with your stack, here's a good news that I can give you. We offer 20 hours of free developer time, no strings attached whatsoever. That includes one-on-one consultation to help you map your architecture, choose the right tools, avoid costly mistakes before you start building your solution. Now, why work with us? Because we've actually used Strapi directors in production environments, not just in demo projects. We have built content driven platforms, SaaS apps, internal tools, and we know where each of the CMSs shines better, where it struggles, and how to set it up the right way. There is no bias, no bloat, just practical real world advice based on builds that actually can be shipped. I mean, even if you tomorrow ask us to do something on Strapi, we are still okay to do it. We are okay to do it with Directus as well. But here, right now, I'm just giving you a practical advice because we have seen it all. So, apart from that, I think what differentiates us from other agencies and freelancers and consultant is because of our flexible pricing. We have like a clear cut domain expertise. We have specialized knowledge on the CMSs. We have worked with 10 plus CMSs. We are scalable. We have worked with Strapi and directors for so long with different kinds of projects with different industries. Our team is capable enough of great collaborations. We have good availability. We have loads of resources to work on them. We have great expertise. And I think the one of the most important thing is about the expertise in both Strapi and directors that we come with, where probably an agency can be very slow to adopt, or freelancer may lack depth and focus in the same. Uh, Having said this, I think because as we have already used Strapi and Directus, I have been emphasizing on the fact of using it. I know there could be some doubts in you which you might want to clear by talking to us. So that's exactly why we have websites. We have Calendly link that are there in the below in the video, so you can book a slot there. Let's talk it out. We can give you like 20 hours of free consultation, as I told you before. Whether you're in a planning mode or you're already like deep down into development, we can help you get it right if you've lost track. And as always, hit that like button, subscribe, stick around. We've got more no fluff content coming on dev tools, product strategy, and tech that actually scales. Thank you so much. Catch you in the next one.